Hello. So this is Ankush and I am a staff engineer. I have worked 6 years in the domain. Majorly have worked in AI and the full stack development. So I know like what things current you need to learn in the current market, how you can build the stuffs, and what should be your focus in the existing time. So we will start like what are AI operating systems, how you can build not just the AI agents, because the problem with AI agents is they are costly because you are heavily relying on LLMs. And if you can design something like a compiler system where you are majorly relying on the states that you have developed, and AI is just helping you to route to the right path or to the right functions. So we will start today. We will cover the basics today and then we will go deeper. Okay. So let's start. What will be the process? So in the process there is nothing. Okay. Sorry, my bad. Actually there was some issue. Yeah. So it is our goal and it is our result. And here between come the LLM. So what is your goal? Goal could be a small prompt. It could be write a story. It could be check my account, or it could be check my account and fetch some money, or tell me what will be the answer of this problem. Now inside of it, it is our OS, or say AI agent. Okay. So now what will be the steps inside of it? So we can design multiple ways, but on a simpler level, we will design a simple system. We will call it an agentic loop. Inside of it, there will be multiple steps. First one will be or should be observe. What is the observe here? Observe will take your prompt. It will check what could be the feasible answer here, what you want, and what it could do. But it will not do everything in this single step. So we break it into multiple steps. Like first do the observation, should it be checked, or we should not use the tokens here, just give your response, sorry, write it again, or like this is against our policy. Then the second comes the reason. So reason is, you have written the problem here, it have the problem, how will the LLM analyze based on our system. So it can use multiple ways. First one and the cheap one is called chain of thoughts. So in the chain of thoughts, what we do is we take the parameters, or say the prompt that you have written. We check why, what, how, like checking the intention of your prompt and what it could do based on the system or based on the skills that we have. The second one is thought, or tree of thoughts. So tree of thoughts, the difference between two of them is, in the chain of thoughts it work like this: the first one, what, the second one, why, The third one, how. This could be a thing. First, it will create what? Take the response to the next step. It goes here. Both the first one, the prompt, the two of them used here to create the response. Then on the third one, the entire reference goes to the third step and it creates the answer. I mean, it could be anything based on your system, you can design it. The second one is tree of thoughts. It is like this. The S1, S2, S3. Suppose you have a complex problem. So in those cases we use tree of thoughts. Like it should check your bank account. The second one should check your monthly spendings. The third one should check your stocks, etc. to tell you like what is your condition, what you should do. And this one is supervisor. It will take all these responses and it will do the calculations. An LLM will be called here, and then it will give you the response like what you should do, what could be the answer. So it is just the reasoning level. It will do the reasoning here. Same for the graph of thoughts here. It work like this. Here it's called like agent nodes. We have created multiple here. The functions which get triggered take your prompt, work together like this should be called, that should be called, or that should be called, and based on that it will finish the reasoning step. So now once the reasoning step is completed, then comes even in, if we talk about the real life, after the reasoning, like you have the rough idea like what this is your problem, so what you will do. So the next step is, even in real life it is called planning phase. Even in business, like first you think like this is the problem, then the next step should be like what will be the plan. So here come the planning. So in the planning what we do is we write a function. What the function do? The function do is it take the prompt, it take the calculations which have been finished using tot, quote, or got. Okay, it is like tot. It take here, then LLM get called again in this function, which will check like what could be the optimal way based on the services that our machine have, what it could do. Does it need internet searching, does it need your account searching, whatever functionalities we have added into the services. It could be a simple machine, it could be a complex machine. So once this step is completed, then the payload is quite detailed. Like it could be JSON, it could, I mean, based on our requirement we can design the payload, but I prefer to write in a JSON method, like in a JSON format, structuring the entire payload or say the response, and also designing an evaluation system at each level, because designing an efficient evaluation system help you to find the problem in the initial stages, and also implementing whether we want to add a human in loop. What it will do is like on the planning level it will, or on planning level or like on act level, it will ask user like this is the plan that I have created, do you want me to execute it or do you want to make some changes. So if the user want to make some changes, he can do the changes, else it will go to the next step, which is called acting phase or execution phase. So what happens in the execution phase? Nothing, just a while loop. inside of it we will write the conditions. We were talking the evaluation, so there will be some evals prompt conditions. So this will be kind of a recursive while loop where it will take the parameters conditions, and llm will be called, llm this, llm that. The response will be taken, it will do permutation combinations. Then the response will be checked here, like if success look like this, then answer is right. It will go back to this while loop and it will update the value, so the next time it will not be triggered, and the response will be returned to the next step or to the user. So this is the basic level. But now suppose there could be, there are some problems, so what we will be doing here? So we will add kind of a reflection system here. We will add some responses to give hints to llm, like what should be the response, what should be the formatting, etc. And we will also add some episodic memory here. So what is the episodic memory? We will add some llms. Each time when the while loop is triggering, it will memorize the values inside this while loop, so that whenever the next trigger is coming, it will check like it is not doing the same thing, it is doing the different things. And also using it, or like using an efficient manner, we will add like the retry should be max, or say the number of execution should be max 10, max 3. Based on the requirement, we will need to design the evaluation system. So based on your business, it could take like 30 minutes, it could take days, it could take weeks. Purely depends upon the business, or say the platform that you are building. So now comes, what are the things that we are missing, or like what should be the features which can help this system? Like suppose this is just a big function, what things we should add here? Okay, so the one thing could be like basic tools. What could be the tools? A web crawler, a third party service. Third party, what could be a third party service? Like you add perplexity, you add some some third party like Zerodha. Suppose you are working in the stock market, or adding some MCPs, like you are using Canva, Miro, these softwares. And these are the tools. Also suppose you need to store the responses also, like how your system is working, because suppose you are working in HFT, or you are working in something which is quite expensive. So in those cases you can implement a audit log system, or just saying that we will handle memory here, which could be episodic for auditing, caching, all these stuff. And also we can use some other agents also, like using some third party agents which have good, I mean, they are quite good in their domain. Like suppose you want evaluation by some third party service, or like you need some data, reference data, which could be used within these loops, so that the number of execution get reduced, and like instead of 10 execution it just take 2 3, because the agent or the service that we are using is quite good in their domain. So this is a kind of a high level system. Here we have created an AI agent, but it is not a complete operating system. If we talk about that, we should be building an operating system. A operating system could be a design same like Linux or Windows, where you are not just working with a program or like a feature, like currently we are doing it with AI. We are just editing the photos, we are just writing some prompt and it is writing stories, or like writing some sheets, excels, or PPTs. Currently we are in the initial phase, but if we are talking about the operating system, so on in a operating system we need some top level guys which can take some things which are at some level stateless but efficient enough, so that whatever we do, they they are sometime independent and sometime interdependent, but they behave the way that the user want them to behave. So to build these kind of things, we need to work hard and we need to understand like what kind of structure we people are building. So for that thing, I mean, this is just the initial phase. Like now we will be talking about like how the papers or say how the things are working in this domain, what we need to learn. We will dig deeper. We will talk about like the how the transformer works, how the reasoning patterns work, or say how the memory management we can do in the LLMs, or like if we need to do some kernel level debugging, like uh, making changes on kernel level so that the our system could work the way that our company or our software want. Because currently most of the things are general purpose, same way like the Hinge or Tinders were in the initial phase, where they did not had set the locations. You can set your location to anywhere, like you could set your location to Florida, you can set to New York, or like to Delhi, or like to Singapore, anywhere. But like the moment that they are growing, the users growth, so they have set some conditions. Same way the GPUs currently are general purpose, so they can do all the things but not in an efficient manner. So if you know what things you want, you can design the things based on your requirement. But the first thing that we need to do is like we need to understand what we are building, how we are building, and then we can debug things and we can design the things also. So today I am finishing the episode because my pencil's battery got down. But yeah, let's connect again in tomorrow, and we will finish 1 hour lecture.